Strange, Weird, and Creepy Tales, written by Maria Cisneros Toth. Today's creepy tale, second time around. Ugh, I woke up with a killer headache. Feels like someone slugged me over the head with a brick. But I had a story assignment at the Historic Mission Inn, and it was too late to cancel. I popped a couple of aspirin, laid out a pair of jeans and white ruffled top, and hopped in the shower. By the time I reached the hotel, the pain had subsided to a tolerable throb. Looks like I'll live another day. As I stepped into the foyer and joined a tour group, a wave of déjà vu swept over me. Feeling dizzy, I closed my eyes a moment and took a deep breath. I blamed the dreamy weirdness on my headache. The tour group followed the docent into the music room, where she informed us that there were old catacombs beneath the inn. Tunnels. I loved tunnels. I wanted to explore them, but they were off limits, even to this curious reporter. Back in the newsroom, as I wrote my destination feature about the hotel, the thought of the catacombs still nibbled at my brain. I knew I was bordering on obsession when I considered disguising myself as a hotel maid to sneak into the underground passageways. I shook my head, chasing away the harebrained scheme. For days the thought lingered in my mind. Then late one night, after another feature assignment, I cruised up Mission Inn Avenue. As I approached the hotel, my breath stole away at the sight of the resort, its architectural style influenced by early California missions. Within its buttresses and walls lay the forbidden tunnels. I turned onto the deserted and narrow street behind the hotel that dated back to the late 1800s, when it first operated as an adobe boarding house. Ever since I moved to Riverside, I've been strangely drawn to this abandoned building that loomed in the shadows of the hotel. I often found myself making excuses to drive past it, but had never bothered to stop. At night, the old brick dwelling looked like a haunted mansion with busted windows and a large balcony. The tour guide had said the old and decaying building was called the Annex, the dormitory where hotel employees lived during the inn's heyday. Tonight, I decided to check it out. I eased my car to the curb and walked up a few steps leading to a locked wrought iron gate. It would be cool to take a look inside, I said. You can't, a voice answered from behind me. It's not safe. I spun around. A pretty young woman in an old-fashioned maid's uniform lit up a cigarette. It's not Halloween, so the get-up must be a way to make guests feel like they've gone back in time. Your costume is a nice touch, I said. Didn't mean to scare you, doll. She blew a wisp of white smoke. I'm Annabelle. I work at the hotel. I figured. Hey, I said, those things will kill you, doll. She laughed, chucked the cigarette to the sidewalk, and ground it out with her heel. So what are you doing here? Are you a cop? I made my way down the steps to the sidewalk. I'm a reporter. We're naturally nosy, you know. A real-life reporter, eh? Listen, I have a story that I've been dying to tell somebody. I leaned in. What's your scoop? An unsolved murder. Why not go to the police? Are you kidding? Who has time to listen to a ghost? Annabelle's mouth curled into a smile. Ghost, huh? I like Annabelle. She reminded me a lot of myself, a girl with a warped sense of humor. Listen, I'm a regular working stiff. Have to get back. If you're interested, my shift ends in about an hour. Are you serious? Somebody's got to work graveyard. Look, if you can't stick around. No, I'll wait, but it better be worth it. Oh, trust me, it will be. Annabelle darted across the street and disappeared into the shadows of the hotel's rear entrance. While I sat at the bottom of the old annex steps, I had an idea. I listened to Annabelle's story in exchange for a private tour of the tunnels. Bet she could set it up for me. She must have connections. Rat-tat-tat-tat-tat-tat. An empty soda can flew toward me like someone had kicked it. Just the wind, I muttered, but there was hardly a breeze. Then I thought I heard whispers coming from inside the annex. I ran up the steps to the locked gate and peered between the iron bars and into the pitch black. Hello? I said. I waited. Is anyone there? Nobody answered. Pop, pop, pop. Lanterns on the underside of the balcony flickered and went out. A blood-curdling scream raised the hair on the back of my neck. Chills rippled up my spine as I darted for my car. Another shriek punched the darkness, and my keys slipped out of my grasp. I dropped to the ground, my fingers fumbling across the asphalt. Oh, God, where are my keys? Crashing glass and what sounded like furniture thrown against walls exploded inside the old building. Doors slammed, voices shouted, thump, thump, thump. Heavy footsteps stomped across the balcony above the sidewalk, not far from where I had ducked behind my car. Leaping to my feet, I bolted across the road, hid behind a concrete pillar, and peered around its edge. Get back here! A tall man hollered from the annex balcony. Where'd he come from? Did he see me? The man hulked over a woman near the railing. Wait a minute, is that Annabelle? No, it can't be. I saw her go into the hotel. At least I think I saw her enter the hotel. I glanced up at the old footbridge that spanned the street. Maybe she used the walkway to cross back. The tour guide had explained how it linked the hotel to the dormitory. The woman screamed, "Let me go, you big gorilla! Give me the necklace!" The man demanded. Streetlights flickered again, and I clearly saw the woman's face. It was Annabelle. "For the millionth time, I told you I don't have it," she cried. "Where is security? I flew to the inn's back door and pounded my fist. Somebody help!" No answer. Why not? Annabelle shrieked and kicked as the tall and broad-shouldered man picked her up and threw her over the balcony. Thud. I gasped, then ran and knelt beside her. Her neck appeared twisted, broken. "Can you hear me? Don't move. I'll get help." She clutched at my blouse, pulled me closer, and rasped, "The necklace. Behind a loose brick in the tunnels. Whatever you do." She took a stuttering breath, then said, "Don't let him have it." "Necklace? What necklace?" Her piercing blue eyes bore into mine, and an icy wind swept through me. Annabelle went limp. Footsteps thundered from inside the annex. I left Annabelle and darted back behind the hotel's concrete pillar as the man burst through the wrought iron gate. I thought it was locked. I watched in horror as he dragged her body toward the sidewalk near the inn. He yanked up 2 steel doors lying flat on the cement walk and hurled her inside. He reeled around and panned the deserted street. His stare was dark and brooding. As he moved toward my hiding place, I shrank back and shut my eyes tight. I could feel him coming closer, closer. Just as I was about to scream, the Phantom of the Opera ringtone trilled on my cell phone. My eyes sprang open. Oh no! I left it on the car seat. I swallowed hard. I'm dead meat. But the man was gone, vanished, no footsteps, nothing. Where'd he go? Trembling and weak-kneed, I dashed over to the gaping hole in the sidewalk and peered deep inside. It looked like some sort of old service elevator. But where was Annabelle? I glanced up and down the street, and where was her killer? Crash! The sound of glass shattered. An ear-splitting scream peeled the night wide open. 2 shadows wrestled near the balcony railing. Again, the woman screamed, "Let go of me, you big gorilla! Give me the necklace. For the millionth time, I told you I don't have it." I scrambled to my car and found my keys. My hands shook uncontrollably as I twisted the ignition. This can't be happening. The engine roared and I hit the gas. Tires squealed as I swerved toward Market Street. I looked in the rearview mirror. Just like before, a body flew from the balcony to the street below. Annabelle. My heart hammered. What's going on? I ran a red light and drove straight to the police station. A policeman took my report, but they couldn't find any signs of a struggle or Annabelle's body at the annex. I'm not crazy. Just because I can't explain what I saw doesn't mean it didn't happen. Nightmares plagued my sleep. The haunting dreams were always the same. I'd find myself floating as light as a helium balloon through the dark passageways beneath the inn. Then at the far end of a tunnel, I spotted a shaft of light. A woman held a flashlight awkwardly in one hand while forcing a brick into the wall with the other. "Annabelle?" My voice echoed through the tomb-like chamber. She jerked around, the flashlight dropped and clattered at her feet. "Whatever you do, don't let him have the necklace," she said as she melted into the dreamy darkness. "What necklace? Annabelle, come back!" I awoke to a rapid heartbeat. The dream felt so real. I sucked in a shaky breath and lowered my head onto the pillow. I saw a young woman murdered. I know I did. I'd bet my life on it. For weeks, nothing took the edge off my headaches. I felt like the walking dead. I was useless at work, so I took sick leave to help pull myself together. It was late Thursday afternoon in October when I got the nerve to return to the scene of the crime. Feeling safe with people milling about, I plopped on the steps of the old dormitory. Delivery trucks drove over the spot where Annabelle took her last breath. Then a man crossed the street and walked over to me. He looked familiar. "Do I know you?" I asked. "Detective Franco." He flashed his badge. "I'm investigating a murder that allegedly took place here. Do you work at the hotel?" "No, but I witnessed the murder. Any clues?" "So you're our only eyewitness. Did you find the killer?" "We need to find a body first." "It's all so crazy," I said, shaking my head. "I know what I saw, but I can't explain the rest." "Yeah, well, look, I was headed to the hotel catacombs to start searching for the necklace you mentioned in your police report. It might help the case if we could find something concrete. Hate to see another unsolved murder. You know," he said, "it's not our policy, but since you're a reporter, would you like to tag along?" "Sure." Witnessing a murder wasn't the way I wanted to get to see the tunnels, but at least I had a purpose now, to find the necklace and hopefully help find Annabelle's killer, the coward. I followed Detective Franco through the hotel lobby and into a musty underground chamber. It drove me nuts trying to place him. Maybe I'd seen him at one of those neighborhood watch meetings. What else? I smiled to myself. Maybe I'd run into him at a donut shop. He pulled out a small flashlight and we crept through the narrow corridors. All of a sudden that weird déjà vu feeling whooshed over me again. The brick walls seemed to be closing in. I felt dizzy, nauseous, probably anxiety. It would pass, I hoped. Careful, watch your step, Detective Franco said. You don't want to trip on one of these old floors and break your neck. As we walked farther along the passageway, the detective said there had been a similar murder at the inn back in 1926. Cold case, he said. The dead woman found in the service elevator fits your victim's description to a T. Are you saying these two cases could be related? I asked. The Annabelle I met was pretty and young, no more than 25. Then it dawned on me. Maybe the woman murdered all those years ago was one of Annabelle's relatives, a grandmother and aunt, and somehow my Annabelle had learned about the stolen necklace. I paused. But... Detective Franco whirled around. But what? What about the creep on the balcony? Any clues on who he is? The detective chuckled. You're a regular sleuth, aren't you? He said as he led on. Look, this is what I know. The cold case victim was a hotel maid. She'd been suspected of stealing jewelry from wealthy guests. The girl had plenty of opportunity, keys to all the rooms, and a male accomplice. Male accomplice? Who? Boyfriend, real lady killer, the brains behind the jewelry heist. That diamond necklace is rare and worth millions now. Excuse me, detective, unless I'm reading you wrong, you seem more interested in the value of the necklace than in that poor dead girl. Alleged poor dead girl, he said. Remember, we don't have a body yet. Besides, one clue leads to another, right? He led the way deeper into the sprawling catacombs. The air grew mustier, damper. I stopped and swept my hand over the rough wall. My fingers settled on a brick partially sticking out from the rest. I touched it. It rocked. In my dream, Annabelle shoved a brick back into the wall. Wait, I said. I tugged and pulled. The brick scraped against the others until it broke free. I handed it to the detective. My hands are too big to fit in there, he said. Can you? Sure. Reaching into the gaping hole, I felt around until I snagged something with my fingers and dragged it out. You're not going to believe this. I spun around with the diamond necklace dangling from my fingertips. Here, I better take that for evidence, the detective said. Just as I was about to drop the necklace into his open palm, our eyes locked, and I remembered Annabelle's dying words. Whatever you do, don't let him have it. I snatched the necklace back into my hand. It was you! You killed that poor girl! The detective's mouth twisted into a grimace. He raised the brick above my head. Everything went black. I felt weird, lightheaded. I opened my eyes and found myself floating several feet off the floor. On the ground beneath me, a woman lay in a pool of blood. I wasn't certain, but she seemed about my age, with dark hair like mine. Then it struck me. That's me. No. Dead. I'm dead. Detective Franco stood over my body, a bloodied brick in one hand, the necklace in the other. If you had just told me where you'd hidden it back then, Annabelle, things wouldn't have had to end this way. He dropped the necklace into his trouser pocket. Then he grabbed my ankles, dragged my body deeper into the catacombs, and stuffed me into a dark alcove. What does he mean, back then? I don't understand. And why is he calling me Annabelle? A reel of memories played in my mind. Suddenly I remembered us, Detective Franco and I, the way we were long ago. Franco headed for the heavy wooden door leading back to the hotel. He turned and faced the dark tunnels. You're a swell gal, Annabelle. Who knows, play your cards right and maybe things will work out for us next time. I'll look you up. He flicked off his flashlight. See you around, doll. He shut the door. The click of the lock echoed throughout the underground chamber. I floated through the tunnel door and hovered over the sidewalk as Franco got into his car and sped away. Oh yes, there will be a next time. But I'll be the one waiting for you, doll. Ugh. I woke up with a killer headache. Feels like someone slugged me over the head with a brick. Second Time Around is one of 13 strange, weird, and creepy tales written by Maria Cisneros Toth, available on Amazon as an ebook and paperback. Thanks for watching, and scary dreams!